worship lesson this week, we get to look at Matthew chapter 13. And I'm so excited because Matthew chapter 13 is where Jesus teaches using parables. Now, a parable is just a short story that Jesus would tell to try to help his people understand what the kingdom of God is like. You know, the kingdom of God isn't just the church, even though that's a small part of it. The kingdom of God is the way that God rules and reigns over all of creation. He does that right now, but he will also do that even more so when Jesus returns one day and he makes all of creation right, just as it should be, and he rules here forever. So, the kingdom of God is something that we all, as Christians, really get to look forward to and tell people about. Now, in Jesus's parables, the short stories, he used several stories about things that the people then would have been very familiar with, like farming. I've got my overalls on here, and in your craft packets this week, if you didn't get one last week, it's okay. You can come by and get one for Miss Karen, or they will be at Drive-In Church and the 9:30 service again on Sunday, so you can get one Sunday. But in your craft packet, there is a bag that says September 6th. That's your craft, and you'll see a pot. And this is a little pot that is special because once your plant begins to grow in this pot, you can bury the whole thing. It can grow right in the ground through the pot. Isn't that neat? And you'll see a little bag of seeds. Look how tiny these seeds are. These are actually a flower seed. And we're gonna plant a few in our pot, and then I'll tell you about the parable. Now I have here some potting soil. You can get soil out of your garden, out of your yard. Make sure it's not clay, the yucky brown thick stuff. You want it to be kind of darker like this. And then these seeds, they don't have to go very deep. I just kind of put mine on top and then cover a little bit of dirt over the top like that. And then you'll water them every day. And when you see shoots start to come up out of the top, you can plant the whole thing in the ground and you'll grow some flowers. Do you know Jesus told a story about a little bitty seed? He did. He told a parable about a mustard seed, which is the very smallest of all the seeds. And he said the kingdom of God is like a little bitty mustard seed, even smaller than these. And just like a mustard seed can get planted in the ground and then grow and grow and grow into a big tree, that's how God's kingdom is. It started with just Jesus and his small group of disciples and followers, but it has grown and grown and grown and keeps growing even now that you and I are a part of it. And then he said the kingdom of God is also like some yeast. Did you know that yeast is the stuff they put in bread? Here's my loaf of bread that makes it rise. He said it's like a little yeast that you put in a big thing of flour dough, and it works its way through the whole dough to make the whole dough rise. That's how the kingdom of God is. Such a small thing can spread throughout the whole world. And then Jesus said, the kingdom of God is so precious that it's like a field where if there was something, a treasure planted in the field, and somebody found that treasure that was buried in that field, they would sell everything they had to buy that field because it's so precious. It's kind of like a pearl, Jesus said, that someone would sell everything they have to get that pearl. And so Jesus wants us to know that the kingdom of God is so precious that it is worth everything we have. Everything we have. Now, you might be asking yourself, how do I become a part of the kingdom of God? And I want you to know that our memory verse this month, which we sing a song to, I gave you your parents the link to the song. Our memory verse this month is out of Colossians 1, verses 13 through 14, and it teaches us that anyone who chooses to follow Jesus can be rescued and delivered from darkness into God's kingdom. You become a part of God's kingdom by choosing to follow Jesus. And that is a precious, precious thing. I hope you enjoy studying all of his stories. Now let's watch our video together.
One day, Jesus went out and sat by the sea. Large crowds of people gathered around him, so he got into a boat and sat down. All the people stood on the shore. Then Jesus told the people parables or stories to teach them about the kingdom of God. Jesus' disciples asked him, "Why do you teach in parables?" Jesus answered, "Not everyone will understand the hidden truths about the kingdom of heaven." Jesus reminded them about some of the words spoken by the prophet Isaiah. Some people look, but they do not see. They hear, but they do not listen or understand. Jesus made these prophecies come true. Jesus said, "You are blessed because you do understand." Jesus told a parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed that a man planted in his field. It is the smallest of all seeds, but it grows taller than the garden plants. It becomes a tree, and the birds come and build nests in the branches. Jesus continued, "The kingdom of heaven is like leaven or yeast that a woman mixed into 50 pounds of flour. The leaven makes the dough rise." Jesus told another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure buried in a field that a man found. He reburied it, and then he joyfully sold everything he had and bought that field. Then Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls. When he found one priceless pearl, he went and sold everything he had and bought it." When Jesus finished teaching the crowds, he left that place and went to Nazareth. The kingdom of God is growing in the world. The kingdom is valuable and worth giving everything for. While we wait for Jesus to return and fully set up his kingdom, we carry out the mission of telling others about King Jesus, who rescues sinners.